All right, Algebra 2. A recap on today's lesson of domain and range, and for those kiddos that weren't there this morning, domain is your independent variable. It is on your x-axis. It is the x value of the ordered pair. You always move left to right when you're looking at domain. Range is your dependent variable. It's your output. It lies on the y-axis. It is your y value. You always go down to up. So those are the definitions of domain and range. So if you're looking at this and I want to state my domain and range, a couple of easy problems that I'm doing, your parabola, y equals x squared, and then the cubic function, y equals x cubed. So on the parabola, when we're looking at our domain, one thing about this, if we're going left to right on the x-axis, so we're heading this way, this thing keeps ticking over left. It's going to keep ticking over and over and over right. So your domain would be from negative infinity to positive infinity. Keeps going this way, keeps going that way. Which we also would write that with this symbol of all reals. Your range starts at 0, so we're going down to up on the range. So your range, the lowest point that it starts at is 0, and then it travels all the way up to infinity. So there's your domain and range. So if we're looking at this cubic, it keeps traveling right. It's going to keep traveling left, all the way over the other way. So my domain for this one, again, I'm just going to write it as all reals because it goes from negative to positive infinity. Our range, same thing. It continues to go down. It's going to continue to go up forever. So our range is also all reals. Now, if we have something like, let's say I want to graph y equals x squared plus 3x minus 4. And what I showed them this morning is the graphing calculator. So make sure you turn it on. Go to your y equals. Make sure everything's clear out of there. Make sure all of these plots up above are not highlighted. So we want to make sure that they are all free and clear and just like they are. Okay, so I'm going to type in. This button right here is your x button. So x, here's squared, plus 3x minus 4. I'm going to graph that. So one thing about it, if your graph always looks a little wonky, and like this one looks good because this is what it's supposed to look like, but if your graph looks funky, you always go to zoom and go down to number 6 to standard. It sets your graph how it's supposed to look. So here's our graph. So if I want to state my domain of that graph, my domain keeps traveling left, keeps traveling right. So that would be all reals. My range, the lowest point that this goes, it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like we're at negative 6 and it's traveling up to infinity. Okay, this point on the parabola, so we got our parabola, it's over here. This point is your vertex. That's also your maximum and minimum point. So that is going to be your lowest point for this graph, which is also the lowest point that your range would start at. So there's kind of a recap on what we did today. Showed you how to do it on the calculator, how to enter in what those graphs look like. If you want to know what the assignment is on that worksheet, get with someone that was there today. They will let you know what problems that we had to do. So there it is.